we've got a tier list just right down here, and we are going to rank every single Star Wars film. We're going to base our rankings off of things like their impact on the Star Wars franchise as a whole. Characters, story is obviously a big one. Effects, all that kind of stuff. Music, potentially as well. Let's just start with Rogue One, because I want to talk about Rogue One.
I think it's for the first spin-off that Star Wars ever had. I think it's the perfect movie to do.
Okay.
To start, like just fill in that some unanswered questions with the first Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
So overall, I'd say good start.
Good start.
And as far as the movie goes, it's just it gets better as it goes on. It's kind of a progressive movie, whereas as far as like the quality of it,
I think the last act in Rogue One is like just the best Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's like, so good. I think we don't need to like analyze why it's so good, because it's just been talked to death since it came out. Like, it's just action packed.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography in Rogue One is incredible. So I rewatched it recently, like I said, and that was one of the first things I re-noticed again, was how great it looks. All the Disney Star Wars movies look great, but I think Rogue One specifically really had a nice blend of the original trilogy look. Like, it looks like what the original trilogy would look like if it was made today. What do you feel about the cast as a whole, and are there any standouts for you specifically and among that huge cast?
The cast as a whole, it's a pretty big cast. I remember when they had like announced the movie, and they were like, these are the main characters, and they give you like 9 or 10, whatever it is, and you're like, holy shit. But it makes sense when you see the movie. So the characters all each kind of have their own little backstory and a little bit of like development throughout the movie, which is cool because obviously we'll never see them again. So they're pretty cool characters that just fit right into Star Wars.
So like okay, of all the characters, I K2SO is a fantastic character.
I love K2.
Very funny. Alan Tudyk is great. He's a genius. It's awesome. He's so funny.
Great casting choice on Alan Tudyk.
Yes,
whoever was the casting director.
Totally agree. And the other one that I really like is Chirrut Imwe.
Yes,
is a guardian of one of the Guardians of the Wills.
Had some funny moments.
He did. And so those two are my favorite, but then it kind of slips from there, and I can't, you can't judge the movie for that, because like we said, it's a lot of characters to balance. So to give them all a great story, great character arc is kind of hard. But I think one of the biggest problems and biggest pitfalls in Rogue One is I don't think really any of them have a great character arc. I'm going to be honest. I genuinely just don't like Cassian.
I knew you were going to say that.
He's so weird. Like, he's just, and I'm sorry. I don't particularly like Diego Luna either as him. I don't even really think he's that good. I don't really think he's that good in the movie, to be honest. And a lot of his plot doesn't make any sense, where they give the officer in charge, the general, I can't remember his name, but the general who gives him his assignment to kill Galen Erso. It's like, it's not his fault that that's his assignment, but it's fucking stupid, and it's a dumb plot point, because it doesn't actually make any sense, because they know the Death Star, once they go to Jeddah and Jeddah gets destroyed, they know they know the Death Star is finished, so they're like, oh, like, you have to kill Galen Erso, the Death Star can't be completed, without him they can't complete it, but like, it's already done, so if you kill him, it doesn't matter. Like, that entire section of the movie where they go to Edu to kill fucking Galen Erso makes no sense.
He's just a soldier. He's your stereotypical soldier role.
Yeah, and he's just
for the rebels.
Just fine. And then I had to write this down because this line pisses me off. This line makes me mad. This line makes me angry that there's a Cassian spinoff in the works. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. Fuck that line. That's the dumbest line. Why 6? Why has he been in this fight since he was 6? Okay.
They put up.
Maybe he's like a Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, who is like his parents were killed, and like so he's been in this fight. But like, fuck, just make it older. Just say older. Why 6? It doesn't make any sense. It's such a weird number. I don't get it.
Put
like
a blaster in your hand at 6 and say, "Go kill these stormtroopers."
I actually what I wrote down here was that line is worse than any Jar Jar line. I literally that line is cringier than anything Jar Jar does.
To be honest, debatable. That's debatable. In my opinion.
Well, I think that's true. That's my opinion on that one. I hate that line. It's so bad. One of the other big characters that fucking I hate in it. I don't like Saw Gerrera in the movie.
I knew you could say that.
I don't like Saw Gerrera in the movie at all. I'm sorry. It's weird. He's weird. He's so weird, and like I don't know what's going on. And they had to add that fucking squid monster. You know how much I hate the goddamn tentacle aliens. Stop putting tentacle aliens in my Star Wars. I don't want it. I'm done. And so it's weird, and I'm like, get Saw out of here. I don't need it. Like I think that's where for me where the movie lacks the most is like the characters. Definitely a lot. Too many of them are flat as opposed to what they should be. And then some of the story doesn't make sense. But the final act of Rogue One is incredible. It's if we were ranking the final act of Rogue One, it'd be up here in Grandmaster.
For sure.
That like no question, right? But the rest of the movie I think doesn't track the same way. So what are you thinking on our list here of Grandmaster, Jedi Master, Jedi Knight, Padawan, and Youngling? Where are you thinking? Where is Rogue One sitting for you in this particular moment in time?
For me personally, I think it'd be higher than where you put it. I'd put it at Jedi Master. Okay. I think Rogue One is an amazing movie. I think it ties, or answers a lot of questions about the originals that I've always kind of wondered. So for me, it's Jedi Master.
I'll be honest with you. I was also thinking Jedi Master for Rogue One.
Really?
I feel like I didn't convey that in the last 5 minutes of me talking. But when I was watching the movie, I did. When I was watching the movie, I did feel. I was like, you know what? This is great. It's got its flaws, but you know what? This is a great movie, and Gareth Edwards did a fantastic job. I'm so happy that. I was so happy with him with the movie. Yeah. But also one other thing I really like is, you know, I like that they died and that there is no sequel coming. So it is just this is just going to be a standalone movie for you know, because its sequel is A New Hope, I guess. So it's kind of like. You know,
for sure.
They kind of bamboozled us a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like this isn't even like a spin-off. It's just like a warm-up for A New Hope.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Yeah, some lunges for A New Hope.
Yeah, it's episode 3.9.
Yeah.
Negative 4.1. I don't know. But,
I think 3.9. Yeah. And then so I think Grandmaster or Jedi Master is a good spot for it right now. Okay, where do you want to go next? You let's just fucking do it. I think let's just do it random. I don't even want to fucking pick.
I think we should talk about Solo. I mean, we're on the topics of spin-offs.
Sure. Solo. Okay.
Okay, so Solo.
I put it.
I have a better opinion of it than most people. Most people fucking. I'll tell you. It's already down there. Youngling.
I'll take it out. I'll take it out.
It's okay. You can leave it there, a placeholder. But okay. No, I think overall it's a good movie. I think it might have kind of but tarnished Han's reputation in the films to some people, just because they like the mystery about him and the not knowing really how he stands on certain I don't know, in certain situations. So I liked what they did with Han. I think he was played by a good actor. I think he did really well. There's some points where I get kind of bored of the movie. So there's that. But overall, I think the story progresses quite well as its own story. Doesn't really have to fit to another Star Wars movie like all of the other ones do. It's literally just on its own because Rogue One is kind of tied to Episode 4, as you said. This is literally on its own, so I think that's pretty cool. Not saying it's going to be a Jedi Master, but I liked it.
Solo, man, it's just, for me, I feel like it just doesn't have, it's just missing something. And you know what I realized it was missing when I was watching Rogue One? Which is weird. This is gonna be weird. Like you're probably wondering, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how they're not even connected at all. But
I'm sure what you say makes sense.
The one thing I felt like Solo was missing, was the Force, the mysticism. I think a movie without the Force is fine. I'm not saying a Star Wars movie requires that. I just think of all the movies we have at present, it's the only one that doesn't feature anything related to the Force. And do they even say, this is totally, I have no confirmation of that.
Literally
do they say may the Force be with you at any point in the movie? Because they do in Rogue One a number of times.
No, like, because I think the first time that Han says it is at the end of episode 4.
Yes.
So it wouldn't really I would be mad if they did.
I feel like he doesn't know. Exactly. So it kind of adds to why, for me personally, it adds to why it's an outlier in this specifically. There's a number of other reasons. Don't think the casting's super great. I don't think the story was really, I honestly, I probably should have watched Solo again like I did with Rogue One in preparation for this, but I didn't. But I don't remember what the story is in Solo.
Well, it's not really even, like, all of the other Star Wars movies are kind of like this grand story which has two, like, big sides playing at each other. This one is kind of just like
scoundrels.
It's a scoundrel and it's a smuggler story, so it's very, like, personal and small. It's a very small story rather than the others, which are big.
For sure. So
I think maybe that's why it kind of feels like it's just not important.
What did Solo add for you? You know what I mean? Like, here's some of the things that Rogue One added that I didn't even mention. Like, it added the U-Wing, an awesome new ship. Death Troopers, which we've seen like six times since in Rebels, in The Mandalorian. Like, we're seeing Death Troopers fucking everywhere.
Because they're fucking sweet.
Because they're awesome. So now I want you to tell me, what did Solo add to the Star Wars universe? Putting you on the spot.
The only thing that really sticks out for me is like the Kessel Run. You finally get to see the
But
Kessel
we already
Run.
knew that it was a thing, so that's not
Sure,
adding any. That's just adding the physical. Yeah, but
you get to see how he did it faster than everyone else.
Okay, but
you know, that's really it.
Yeah, like, it's exactly. It didn't add anything. Rogue One added things to Star Wars that I didn't ask for, but I didn't also ever think about. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought Death Troopers would be a thing. I never thought a U-Wing would be a thing, or all this.
But
stuff.
Now you think they should be in more movies because they're
exactly.
awesome.
But in Solo, I guess I never really thought about why his name is Han Solo, because his name's just fucking Han Solo. I don't know. He was just born, and his mom named him Han. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just shit like that. Like, I never thought about it, but I never asked. And, like, all these things, like, I didn't need to see. I knew how he won the Millennium Falcon from Lando. We already knew that.
Sure. You kind of just get to see it.
We didn't. Yeah, but, like, I guess it's just everything that happens in Solo we already knew happened. It's just now we're just seeing it, which is fine, but it just doesn't feel like enough to carry an entire movie. That's all. Like, I
well, clearly it wasn't, because it tanked.
Exactly.
So you're right. It doesn't really bring much other than maybe the I forget the name of Darth Maul's clan. Whatever.
The Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. Yeah. Which we see a little bit in the Clone Wars, so it kind of has a tie to that.
Yeah.
But there you go. It doesn't really add to starting the Clone Wars.
And even that felt cheap. It felt like all the work that Dave Filoni and the team on Clone Wars did to bring that character back from the dead and give him the story that he deserved. Because he really deserved better than he got in Phantom Menace. And I don't think anyone would disagree with that. They do all this work to bring him back, give him a great story. He's awesome. It's awesome. They carry it out in Rebels. So we've seen his story start to finish. And then, Solo, Ron Howard, fucking whoever's decision it was to put Darth Maul in the movie just says like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. We should do that.
Yeah.
And like, fuck. What? Like it's an added, and now it's got everybody fucking saying hashtag make Solo happen.
You know
why? Why? Nothing happened. There was nothing in the movie that happened. And I'm sorry I'm yelling at you. You can yell back in a second.
Hey man, get it out.
But like,
get it out, man.
Why? Not like putting Darth Maul in the movie. All it did was make people want one of my favorite things about Rogue One was like no sequel. Great, a standalone movie. Now everyone's like, make Solo happen, make Solo 2 happen. Shut the fuck up. I don't need it. I'm good. We're fine. It's fine. Yeah. Just let a movie be a fucking movie.
I think even where they left it off,
God.
Like having Darth Maul there, he's done. Like they showed enough of that in the Clone Wars for people to be satisfied, I think. So like,
yeah, dude, his story's fucking done. It was great. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Like they worked so hard to weave it in and give us those great moments with him and Obi-Wan and him and Ahsoka. Yeah. It's done. It's done. The whole thing is done. Like stop it.
Yeah.
It's just dude, fuck.
Yeah, I know.
All right, where do you want to put Solo? You know where I want to put it, but we're gonna have to just talk it out. I know you're not. I know you're not gonna let me. I know you're not gonna let me put it in Youngling.
Yeah, but I mean, it's your channel, not mine.
No, it's shut the fuck up. This is our show. Where do you want it? This is our list. I'm putting this on Instagram when we're done. This is That's No Moon's official Star Wars tier list. So where do you want Solo?
So I would say let's put it in Padawan.
Okay, so let's put it in Padawan. All right.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm freaking the fuck out.
Get in there, Solo. Get in there.
Get in there.
You're freaking Padawan. You don't know shit.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. We go 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8, 3, 6, 9. That's all. I think that's a good idea.
I think it's very balanced of you.
This is going to be, I feel like this is going to be an interesting one because there's some, there's people who would rank this way higher than others and some people who would throw it right down in Youngling, no questions asked. I guess the first thing we need to just right off the bat is talk about is what is Phantom Menace? What does it add? What does it bring to Star Wars, the Phantom Menace?
No, I think it's a good a reboot to Star Wars because we hadn't seen really anything for 16 years, and it's a lot of people's childhood Star Wars, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as movie goes, it introduces one of the most important characters in Star Wars, Anakin.
For sure.
It's very much his story, this entire trilogy, but this is the start of it.
The entire the entire first two trilogies is his story in a way.
For sure. I would say, yeah, in a way. There's definitely more of a focus on Luke in the originals, but
of course,
for sure,
yeah.
Anakin's story, it wouldn't be without Anakin.
I think it looks very good. I think George Lucas and Doug Chiang and everybody who was working on the design of the prequels, I think really nailed it, especially in the prequel. In the Phantom Menace, there's a lot of really great stuff. I mean, the battle droids being introduced in that first movie, who are just like, they're iconic in their own right now. Maybe not as iconic as a stormtrooper, but like, and then everything with Darth Maul, his lightsaber, the Gungan City, Jesus. Darth Maul. Yeah. The Gungan City looks great. Even Jar Jar, I mean, he's ugly as fuck, but looks interesting. Very, like one of the first motion capture characters.
For the time, very good.
So I mean, there's a lot of great stuff in there. I mean, the story definitely is a little over the place, and then the characterization is not great because one thing I remember that I always think when I watch the movie and is when you watch it, you gotta ask yourself, who is the main character in this movie? Because it's not Anakin, because he doesn't show up till like 30 minutes in.
No,
it's not Obi-Wan, because he's barely in that entire Tatooine sequence. But is it Qui-Gon? Because why would it be Qui-Gon?
It's kind of Qui-Gon.
But why though? That's the thing, right?
It shouldn't really be, but a lot of like the plot development, like furthering the plot, comes from Qui-Gon. Like it's his mission to get Anakin. It's him that's teaching Obi-Wan. It's him that's leading the assault on Naboo. It's him that like furthers everything in that movie.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I guess you would say it was Qui-Gon, but it's just a weird like thing when you think about it, right? Because you'd think it would be, because then Qui-Gon goes and fucking dies. So it's like shit. I personally feel if Anakin had already been 15 or 16, similar age to Luke, and already been training as a Jedi, I think that would have been way more interesting.
I think so too, and they could have done that whole just anything that they would have told in like the actual Phantom Menace. They could have gone for like a long flashback in what that would have been.
Yeah, like I mean, I just think
anything they would have had to say.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I just think it was a weird choice to start it there. And then the other thing that, you know, like, because I guess when you're watching it as a kid, right? Like, I don't even really think I was aware of what the fuck was going on with a lot of stuff, with like the train disputes and shit. So like,
Star Wars blasters, like
like, so does the story really make much sense, especially from the perspective of a kid who is the target audience for Star Wars? Like, I don't really know.
I mean, it shows you why, maybe. I mean, I think they show you why he becomes the way he ends up, Darth Vader, in 2 and 3 a bit better. But this is kind of just introducing you to that time, to that era.
Yeah, I guess I just think retro. I think hindsight is really 2020, because I think going back and looking, there's so much more potential with the first movie and the prequels. But still,
well, I mean, we thought there was more potential with the whole sequel, so who knows?
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, like I don't know where to put the Phantom Menace, because now that we've put, see, this is where it gets this gets difficult for me. I imagine, because I think the Phantom Menace is better than Solo. I would watch the Phantom Menace in a heartbeat over Solo. And maybe that's just a nostalgia thing. I'm sure there's going to be kids who grow up with Solo and would rather watch Solo than the Phantom Menace. So there's that. But fuck them. This is That's No Moon's fucking tier list. So I mean, what do you think?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I'd watch Solo before Phantom Menace.
Fuck off.
You
bitch.
It's not like I'll always feel that way. It depends how I'm feeling that day. You know, I might be like, I'm in a Phantom Menace mood.
I don't want to put the Phantom Menace next to Solo.
Yeah, I would understand
personally. So right now, because of where we've put Solo, like I have to put the Phantom Menace here
for sure
in Jedi Knight. But what do you think about? Are you gonna fight me on that? Because I don't know.
No, I think it deserves its spot at Jedi Knight.
Okay.
It has a lot of memorable and iconic Star Wars moments in it.
Also memes too. I feel like we're gonna rank all these movies on memes. And damn, dude, this is pod racing, man. Like,
damn. So wizard.
We are talking A New Hope, Jordan. So
we are talking A New Hope.
So A New Hope.
The OG.
What does A New Hope bring to Star Wars?
Star Wars?
It all of it.
Star Wars?
It brought it all.
Yeah. Exactly. It brought the universe.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you can just take lightly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know, I just love it, man. A New Hope, everything in A New Hope is so iconic. Like literally every scene, every moment is just like it's been parodied in 1,000 things every time. Like just everything. The fucking trash compactor, parodied. The fucking prison sequence, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? Parodied. Fucking That's No Moon, parodied. Fucking like everything. Everything's parodied. You know what I mean? So like there's so much in A New Hope. It's just I don't even know why I don't even think we're gonna talk about this very long. I think we're just gonna throw it up in Grandmaster. I think
we know where it goes.
I think that's the best thing about the tier list, is that we can, you know, it's not we're not placing, you know, one movie over another necessarily. I just think if you're in the Grandmaster category, you have our respect, and that's what I think is great about the tier list. So the next movie is The Force Awakens. Now, I think something that in our little like makeshift criteria here, our main thing in this criteria is what did it add to Star Wars? What does this movie bring to Star Wars? And when you're looking at The Force Awakens, that's a bit of a problem. Because The Force Awakens is undeniably a remake of A New Hope. So when you're talking about what did it bring, it kind of leaves a lot to be desired in that instance. And I will say there's a lot of great stuff in The Force Awakens. Like really, truly there is. There's some great music in The Force Awakens. I'll say that right off the bat. So my favorite music is from The Force Awakens. I think Finn in The Force Awakens is great. He had so much potential in The Force Awakens. So looking at The Force Awakens objectively, I think he's great.
Yeah.
With Poe when he's with the camera like follows him when he's like flying and taking out stormtrooper TIE fighters. Yeah. That's a great sequence.
So cool.
Fucking awesome. That's one hell of a pilot.
I think out of all of the movies we've talked about so far, Force Awakens gets top notch for effects and action. I think as a whole, I think just like subtle things, the detail that they put into like the Star Destroyers that are crashed down on Jakku, like there's so much detail. And I think they use effects in very cool ways. One example being when Kylo and Han are talking to each other, and as soon as the light from the sun goes out is when Kylo kills Han.
Yeah,
so
and that's
I think
a great shot.
Cool.
That's one of the best shots in the entire movie. Yeah, for sure. In regards to something like the lightsaber duel in this movie, we talked a little bit about the Phantom Menace and the lightsaber duel. Now, I think this is the best lightsaber duel in the sequel trilogy, but I don't think it's better than any of the lightsaber duels in the prequel trilogy, except for maybe Attack of the Clones, but definitely Revenge of the Sith and the Phantom Menace. I think have better lightsaber duels.
I think it's a different sort of style that they use in the prequels, which is it looks better because it's more of like a martial art, like technique based fight, whereas Force Awakens or in the sequels are kind of just like more like realistic but like less flashy.
So the story, I think, is probably the last big thing we need to talk about, where the story is still just A New Hope. Like that's unfortunately the thing you can't really shake. And
unfortunately,
I would have really loved to have seen something different. I would have really loved to have just not seen another Death Star.
Yeah.
And why was that the plan?
Literally comparing it in the movie.
It's like, oh my god. Because it's like, you just make the First Order look like fucking idiots. Like, why on earth would you try to be like, all right, so here's the plan, guys. We're gonna restart an evil not evil, we're good guys. We're gonna restart a fascist regime through the ashes of the Empire. What should our big play be to take over the galaxy? Well, the Empire had 2 Death Stars that both got it blown up. So I'm thinking we just make a bigger one, and then that
can
way
blow itself up.
That way we'll be fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just where's this? Because then you just made them look like fucking idiots. Like, where's the sense in that? Why did it have to be the First Order? Like, I don't know. I've never really said this out loud, but like, why did it have to be the First Order? Why couldn't it have been something else? Like, I know that it is true that when empires or big countries or organizations crumble, a lot of times they will rebuild.
For sure.
Out of those like ashes, if you don't completely destroy it, and like, you know, so I know that that's a true thing that happens. Like, if you don't completely snuff it out, it will come back. Yeah. But why did it have to? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why couldn't the story have been something so different? You know, like, you know, like I'm looking at your poster on your wall, and like there's just stormtroopers on it, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why did there even have to be stormtroopers at all? Like, why is that something that needed to be? You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much familiarity that.
There really is.
That, like, why was that a thing? Why did they do that? I guess I'm asking a question that you can't answer. I'm not expecting you to answer the question.
I don't know why they did the things they did. They clearly didn't have a plan for
The trilogy.
Yeah, like it wasn't like they were like, oh, this is gonna happen in episode 9, so we have to do this in episode 7. Like it wasn't like that. It was just very much its own movie at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So why they did that, I don't know. Maybe they were just scared that doing something else might not work. I don't know. But they did it, and you're right, the First Order is kind of stupid.
Back all the way to Vader saying about, in regards to the Death Star, that this technological terror you've constructed is insignificant to the power of the Force. So it's like, why are you still building, like, do something crazy with the Force. Have fucking Kylo Ren blow up a planet with his fucking mind, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Like, fine, you want to blow up a planet?
Yeah.
Do it. Have Kylo Ren do it.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been so sick. Yeah. I don't know.
I know we're bashing on Force Awakens a lot.
We do like the movie.
I love the movie personally.
Yeah, I still love the Force Awakens.
I saw it like 13 times in theaters, shit like that. So like I think as a movie, on its own individually, I think it's fun and enjoyable.
Totally fun ride for sure.
For sure, and I think the quality of the movie is up there. So like I don't think it deserves to be in the Jedi Knight category. I don't think it should go that low.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. See, now this is when we were talking earlier about the good things about the tier list, this is the problem with the tier list. Yeah. I don't know if I like The Force Awakens better than Rogue One. I don't know if they deserve to be in the same category. I'm fine putting it in Jedi Master for now.
Yeah, me too.
Let's put it in Jedi Master for now, and then when we are finished, we will reevaluate.
Yep.
When we're done, we'll reevaluate our final choices. I'll tell you the truth. Solo being in Padawan has now limited the list for me because I won't put anything lower than Solo. You. So now I feel like, okay, well, I don't want to put something that I like in the same category as Solo. I want Solo to be bottom tier, nothing worse.
Well,
so we'll get there.
I put one other movie in Youngling, so I think obviously I think we should just do it right now and put it in Youngling because
you want to put Solo down in Youngling.
Yeah, it'll just make it easier for us because I think honestly it deserves to be there.
I just think there's so much missing in the movie that's not.
I personally don't think it's a bad movie, but I like all the other movies better. Demoted.
Yeah. So now bouncing back all the way down into the prequels, we've got Attack of the Clones. So what? Okay, so I think in our main question, what does it add to Star Wars? I will say it does add a lot. The clones. Kind of fleshing out that story that Obi-Wan tells in A New Hope, talking about the Clone Wars, finally kicking that off and letting us see that.
Yeah.
So getting to see the clones is and the clones are great. You get to see a little bit older Anakin, first time seeing Hayden Christensen.
It was the start of Anakin and Padme's relationship.
Yeah. You see Obi-Wan being a little detective, a little sleuth boy, which is cool. Yeah. And again, great memes. I don't like sand is a great meme. I killed them all, but not just the men, the women, and the children too. I think there was a time where it was like when people looked at the prequels, they went 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I personally feel it's now 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think people have kind of started to realize that Attack of the Clones isn't as good. I mean, the Colosseum stuff is great. Like the whole Colosseum thing with them like on the pillars. I love that sequence. And it's like that's great. And when you see all the Jedi come in, I think that's a really great moment, a really important moment, because that's really one of the only that's like the only time you see a large group of Jedi in live action fighting and like being what you expected them to be when you watch the original movies. I don't know if this is the worst characterization of Anakin, but it's not as good as Revenge of the Sith. I don't know if Attack of the Clones is worse. I don't know if Kid Anakin is worse than Emo Anakin, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think they're maybe on par with each other.
I have a different feeling. Okay. I personally like the Kid better.
Okay, cool. All right. So okay, fine. Cool. Yeah. The Kid's better. I don't know.
You get some pretty good duels between Dooku and Yoda. That's a pretty good one at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked the duels as a kid. I always thought
that was what I looked forward to when I watched them as a kid. Was those
Oh yeah,
scenes.
for sure. I always thought when I was a kid, I always thought when Anakin started dual wielding, I thought that was the coolest thing.
It is pretty cool.
And like I know when I was younger, I compared that to the dual bladed lightsaber. I thought it was just as cool. So as a kid, I think it was sick. Lightsaber Duel in Attack the Clones, solid.
Yeah.
But what, like, I don't know where else. I don't even feel like I have a lot to say about Attack the Clones right now, because like I just can't. It's not like, it's just, I feel like I know where I want to put it.
I know where I want to put it. Okay. I do not like this movie. I just find myself being bored, even during like the fun parts. I just find myself being bored throughout the whole movie, and like I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of talking that isn't really important in grand scheme. It's more just like movie points.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool and all, but I don't know. I think a lot of the scenes are forgettable. Obviously, I mean, we can't really.
It's not that I can't think of them. It's just that I felt like I knew where I wanted to put it right when I got here, and I just felt I don't think I'm gonna talk myself out of that spot. So I want to put it in Pad 1, but you obviously want to put it in Youngling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. But
well, you gave me Solo and Youngling, so I will give you this one.
Okay. So where you put him? Youngling?
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're democratic here.
Yes, we are.
That's No Moon, and I will throw it right down there for you.
And neither of us like sand.
Who does?
The Younglings can go play in their little sandbox.
It's rough. It's coarse. And it gets everywhere. Nice. So we're gonna move on to The Empire Strikes Back.
Whew.
I think probably another no-brainer.
Yeah, it is.
It's my favorite movie, and I'm pretty sure it's yours too.
It's also mine.
So let's just put it up in Grandmaster. We already know it's where it's going.
Yep.
And we'll still talk about it, but it's Grandmaster. It's the one.
Mm-hmm. But
The Empire Strikes Back has
a ranked list. Empire was one.
It was one on mine too. So I mean, even you know, I think Empire Strikes Back is just. It's just so good. It's the same sentiment to A New Hope, where everything in it is just iconic. I don't feel the same way about Return of the Jedi. I don't think
there's certain moments, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And we will get to that when we get to Return of the Jedi. But I just think when you're talking about Empire Strikes Back, everything is so iconic. Hoth, the Walkers, Bespin, Dagobah, meeting Yoda. What does Star Wars bring? What does The Empire Strikes Back bring to Star Wars? Fucking Yoda. Jesus Christ. Like
Force Ghosts.
Force Ghosts. Oh my god. Fucking yeah. Dude, bro, literally. Oh my god. You just blew my fucking mind. Force Ghosts, Yoda, Boba Fett. Fucking
like conflict within the Force. Even with the good.
It's the first movie where the Force is really explored. You talk about it in A New Hope, you get a little taste of it, and then you're like, ooh, what is the Force? Obi-Wan kind of tells you, but you still don't fully understand it. But by the end of Empire Strikes Back, you understand what the Force is, because that's just how well it's explained, it's told.
And by no other than Yoda, the greatest Force user.
And how incredible. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Yoda and how like Yoda could have been such a failure. Like he really could have been a failure, but because he's a fucking puppet. But like, what an incredible feat to make him one of the most iconic characters in all of Star Wars. Top 10 most iconic Star Wars characters. Yoda's in that list. He's in that conversation. Top three. Yeah. Fuck me. Top 3. Yes, top 3. Like.
Yeah.
So what is Empire Strikes Back bring to Star Wars? Yoda. I am your father. One of the most iconic lines in movie history.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking most iconic lines in movie history. It's in the conversation of top 10 movie lines. You know what I mean? Like, it's so good, man. The music. Oh my god, the fucking music. The Imperial March. One of the most iconic Star Wars songs of all time. You're talking the most iconic Star Wars songs of all time. Top 10. You're putting it in that list. It's going in that list. It's like everything in this movie.
The Holy Grail of Star Wars. I think
it's the Holy Grail, man.
Number one.
Grandmaster.
Number one.
It's the Grandmaster. It is.
It is the Grandmaster. We should make our own tier for this movie.
We really should have.
Empire tier.
This list is a little Empire tier, literally. The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Controversy.
Huge.
If controversy could be a movie, it'd be The Last Jedi. I feel like I'm full of these anecdotes today. Is that what an anecdote is? I'm not even sure.
It is now.
It is now. You can't tell me English is not what I make it.
Exactly. No, but The Last Jedi, at first I didn't really have any complaints about it, but as I've seen it more and as I've heard other people's opinions on certain matters, I will say that it is the weirdest Star Wars movie that is out there.
Yeah, it definitely is weird. So
it's got a weird feeling to it.
For sure. My personal feelings on The Last Jedi are that I like it quite a bit.
Yeah,
I like the movie, and here's the thing. Now, here's the thing that's going to kill it for me, is I really like it. And if we were doing, there was one point where I had my list, laid out. Now, it's changed a little bit because I rewatched Rogue One, and I thought, I think I might like Rogue One better than The Last Jedi. Maybe. But I don't know. So, but there was a point where I had this at number 3 on my list. Because I really do like this movie. But here's where it's going to kill it in the tier list. Is I recently watched it. The last time I watched it, you know what I did? I skipped all the Canto Bight stuff.
Yeah.
And I did that, and I was like, man, what a good movie. But, unfortunately for this tier list, the Canto Bight stuff is part of the movie, and we can't just negate it, even though...
Yeah.
Because it's there. So... Now, and this is one of the things I want to talk about as well, is the characterization of Finn. Because talked about in The Force Awakens, Finn is a great character. I think they really dropped the ball on Finn in The Last Jedi and in Rise of Skywalker. I think Finn just fell so flat, and I love John Boyega. I love that he is a Star Wars representative for the rest of his life now.
Yep.
I love he's a great human being with everything he's doing with Black Lives Matter right now. But he got shafted in the two final movies, and I think Finn is a bad character in those movies.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like in The Last Jedi, Rey and Kylo were the focus, because their story in that movie is fucking great.
Phenomenal. One of my favorite, storylines in all of Star Wars is that.
I just feel like when I'm watching that movie and it's not Rey or Kylo, I'm like, just skip. Just go back to Rey and Kylo. Stop. It just seems like the Finn part was kind of like, oh shit, we got to think about Finn. Like, we did all this story for Rey and Kylo. Like, what's Finn gonna be doing?
Yeah.
Let's get him to do this, which doesn't even mean anything in the end.
I wish this trilogy had just been about Rey and Kylo, because their relationship in The Last Jedi is so good. I love their Force dyad. All the conversations they have with each other are great. I personally really like Luke in the movie. Yeah. I know a lot. We get a lot of shit for that, because I know there's a lot of people who don't. Luke has just got so much failure in his life. He's never had anything good. What has Luke had that's been good? Nothing. So why on earth? Yeah, he was positive. That one time. Yeah, he was positive when he was young. That was great. He was positive. He was trying to be like, kick him when he's down. He stays positive. But that can't last forever. Some people, that doesn't work. I think it was a real story about Luke. So I love how he's
even if you are a Jedi
in the
Master.
Movie. He's a failed Jedi Master who has given up and has to be redeemed, which he does. So I think The Last Jedi as a movie is great. Yeah. Is it great as the sequel to The Force Awakens? No, it's not.
No, they're not very cohesive together. They don't really mesh very well.
They don't work together. Exactly, they don't work together. That's one of my biggest heartbreaks with the entire sequel trilogy is I wish Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, and at the time Colin Trevorrow, who was going to direct Episode 9, had gotten in a room together in 2013 and said, all right, guys, we're not leaving this room until we know how this story is going to begin and end. We're going to map it out right now. Yeah. That's what should have happened, and it didn't. So, whatever, past is the past, but the movies don't match. They don't match. So as much as I love the movie as a standalone movie, does it work as a Star Wars movie? I don't know. I'm sorry, rant over. Go ahead, Jordan, say something.
I mean, since we are ranking the movies individually, I think it's worth saying that as a movie on its own individually, it is quite good. Sure, it's got some scenes, the Canto Bite and Finn and Rhodes that you just kind of want to skip through, but I think the Rey and Kylo stuff can make up for that a little bit when you're watching it and when you're trying to rank it, because those scenes are fun. They're fun to watch. They're entertaining. They are what the sequel trilogy is about. Really, is Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, it's them. They're the leads. It's like it's their story.
There's some good progress there with both of them. You kind of see that Rey is being pulled to the dark, and you see that Kylo is kind of questioning the dark and being pulled to the light a little bit. So seeing that happen and the choices that each of them make, which are still both, I think, for themselves and what they think is best, and they may have a bigger plan and they're trying to discover themselves and things like that. I think that sort of personal journey is fun to watch. So for that alone, I think it should be better or equal to The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I think, it's interesting because I think I don't see. That's so tough, man, because I don't know where I want to put it because they're so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the I think all 5 of the Disney Star Wars movies just leave a little bit to be desired.
They do.
They're all just missing a little bit,
Yeah.
Like I think they all had the potential to be so great, and as much as you and I like them respectively, and as much as everybody either likes or dislikes them respectively, I think everyone can at least admit that there's something there that they just kind of miss. They just missed the mark a little bit. For me, I see personally. For me, I think The Last Jedi is a better movie than The Force Awakens. So I get I'm thinking Jedi Knight, Jedi Master area, but obviously the Canto Bite stuff really drags it down. So I don't know. Does there have to be some reorganizing there, or do we just put Last Jedi as Jedi Knight?
I think it deserves a place at Jedi Knight.
All right, let's throw it. I'm okay to throw it as a Jedi Knight right now.
Me too.
And I think we're gonna just we'll talk at the end again, like I said, and we'll restructure if we need to. We are at Revenge of the Sith. Where do we want to put it? Because Revenge of the Sith is one of my favorites, one of your favorites.
Yeah.
However, when I rank it among the others, I don't usually put it that high, even though I love it so much, which is interesting.
Yeah, mine's newly. It's found in a new place at my ranks.
Yeah. So
when I rank it out of 11 movies.
Yeah. So what do we think? What do we think was added to Revenge of the Sith? What did Revenge of the Sith bring to the Star Wars mythos? What did it give us?
It brought us Darth Vader, the most iconic, one of the most iconic characters ever.
Yeah.
It showed us
finally bringing
exactly how he got to that place and who Darth Vader is really. So it brought us that. It brought us the end of the Clone Wars. It brought us the birth of the Empire. It brought us some epic lightsaber duels and some great character conversations.
One thing I want to mention for sure is we talked about Anakin a lot throughout the prequels in this rankings, and I think this is the best Anakin ever is. I think Hayden Christensen does a really good job. I think he does a really good job, especially compared to his Attack of the Clones self. I think he was written better. Still has some cringe, but that's okay. But he was written better. He did a much better job, I think, bringing it to the character. And I think when I see Darth Vader, I find sometimes I have a hard time you know, like emotionally, because I sometimes I picture Anakin as he was in Revenge of the Sith, just because you know that he wasn't a bad guy for so long. And I think, you know, the Clone Wars obviously adding to that, but I think in this particular movie, you know, it was something that for a long time as a kid I really felt like it would make me feel sad, because I would think like, this guy's Darth Vader, like that bums me out. He seems like a cool dude. And so I think he did a really good job. And also, like, when he was Darth Vader pre-suit, I think was great. Yes. Because it was really cool to see like what Darth Vader would have been had he beaten Obi-Wan. Because that's what he would have just been. Like, he would have just been that like guy, and he would have been insane. Like, he would have been so strong because he wouldn't have had anything holding him back. I think when Hayden Christensen's not talking as Anakin is some of the best he does as Anakin, because it's just his facial expressions. He's just emotional, and I think it's really good. Yeah. Also, the best Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
General Grievous gets added, like, officially. I mean, he was technically introduced prior, but this is his first on-screen appearance, so that's another cool thing to bring to Star Wars. There's so many great lightsaber duels in Revenge of the Sith. And one of my favorite things, we're talking a lot about the music, because I think the music is really important in the movies. That, you know, we didn't even talk about it in The Last Jedi, because I can't really think of any of it. So, like,
neither can I.
So, like, we didn't mention it, but I want to mention it now, because Battle of Heroes is one of the best songs. I personally like it just as much as Duel of the Fates. Like, I think they're just equal to me. Like, I know a lot of people think Duel of the Fates, and then they don't even really think about Battle of Heroes, a lot of people. But I see them just like, they're even men to me. I think they're both great pieces of music. The choreography is amazing and everything. And I think they really redeem. I think George Lucas really redeemed the prequels with Revenge of the Sith. Tying it together was just so important.
It was,
because I think if they had dropped the ball on Revenge of the Sith, that really might have altered everything with Star Wars. I mean, I think that would have see
the prequels, if the sequels would have even happened.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, I think they did a really good job not dropping the ball and bringing it home and kind of getting everything ready for A New Hope, basically, which is kind of the intention of a prequel in a way. So I mean, I think it did its job well. I think it's hard to place it here, because I really don't know, because this is where the challenge comes in with our Jedi Master category, which I think it's up. I think we're both thinking the same thing, that Revenge of the Sith is leaning up there. But is it you know, is it better than Rogue One? I think it's better. I think it's better than The Force Awakens, for sure.
Yeah.
Is it better than Rogue One? Do we put it in the same category, or do we put it up at Grandmaster? Does it deserve to be up in Grandmaster with A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back?
I think it's more respected now than it ever has been.
Totally.
And seen as one of, like, the better Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be unheard of to put it in the Grandmaster category. I think there are, like, obviously some scenes that make you think that it doesn't deserve to be there, but I think it deserves to be there. If not, then definitely Jedi Master.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I think it's, you know, I think looking at the context of, you know, Empire Strikes Back, I think Empire Strikes Back is just, like, almost a perfect movie. But Revenge of the Sith is not a perfect movie.
It's not a perfect movie.
And so that's where now the comparisons get kind of tough.
Yep. For me, I think we should put it in Jedi Master.
I'm down for that right now. Yep. I'm very excited to reorganize this list, because I think I'm looking at it already, and I'm like, I think we're gonna have to reorganize after we get through all of them. I think final original trilogy movie, Return of the Jedi, probably the most debated, I guess, original trilogy movie. I know some people don't think it's like, really that good. Belong. I know some people think it's great. So you know, where we put it.
It brings a trained Luke. He's a lot further along with his powers and his abilities.
He's the the most iconic version of Luke, for sure. Like, no question.
The black suit,
green lightsaber, like that's the most iconic Luke. Green. So I mean, that alone, I think is pretty huge.
Jabba
the Hutt. I was thinking Jabba as well. Ewoks.
Ewoks.
We didn't even talk about Porgs.
Ah, the Porgs. I mean, they're in Rise of Skywalker too, aren't they?
And we'll talk about Porgs then later.
Cool.
But it brings the Ewoks. So
Ewoks.
But here's the thing. So like I don't think like Empire like Return of the Jedi is definitely not it's definitely not a rehash of A New Hope just because it has a Death Star, but it has a Death Star still. So it's like story-wise, is that aspect of it, but also where A New Hope is kind of contingent like on the Death Star, like the movie lives and dies on the Death Star, right? Like it's the plot point of the movie.
Oh, for sure.
But I would argue that in Return of the Jedi, it's not necessarily as much about the Death Star as it is about Luke and Vader, because their relationship has formed. Is Vader actually Luke's father is the biggest question, right? I really love watching that finale. I think
I like seeing Yoda talk about what Luke has to do with Vader, because he kind of says it again, that he's like, yes, he is your father. There's another Skywalker. Like you gotta carry this on.
Yeah. And he says,
Yoda,
and he asks, he's like, he's like, so I am a Jedi, and he's like, not yet. Until you defeat Vader, you are not a Jedi, which I love, but also is so trolly, because what a dick. Because how many other Jedi had to fucking kill their Sith father?
Right.
But I mean, I love that still. I love that that's kind of something that is incorporated into it. But
it's forced his hand, which has been chopped off.
Yes.
By his father.
Yeah. By his
forced
father.
Both their hands. They both.
Yeah.
Are missing hands.
Where Luke's gonna go, because at the time, obviously, this was only the third movie, so is Luke gonna turn to the dark side? It was such a huge question.
Don't really know.
And it could have went. It could have went either way. We watch it now, and obviously, it's like it's not the same. But like, you always got to imagine watching it the first time. Which way could he have gone? So I think the story in Return of the Jedi is incredible.
Yeah.
Aside from the Death Star, like the Death Star 2, I think the story as a whole, really, like with Luke and the conflict within him and the conflict within Vader, is great, and some great dialogue in that movie as well. Oh, boom, lightsaber throw also. First time you see a lightsaber throw.
Oh yeah, the culling blade.
The culling blade, dude.
Yeah. For me, Return of the Jedi is great for all the reasons that you've said. The only thing that brings it maybe below A New Hope or Empire for me is that it's more just like a feel thing, like the tone of the movie, how the movie feels when you're watching it.
Yeah. It
doesn't feel as like, I don't know what the proper word is. It just doesn't feel as good as A New Hope. And
I understand what you're saying. It just the tone is very different in that movie compared to the other two. I mean, specifically with the Ewoks bringing like a completely different vibe to it. The ending of the movie, like them winning, I still like. I don't love the celebration bit. Like it's very campy. It's very 80s. Like them all kind of standing and like they're about to take a picture and like fucking Lando is just clapping in the background, like, and like it's very campy. I love that they win. I just wish the ending maybe was like, just a little like different. Like the celebration's cool and everything, but I just think yub nub, dude, yub nub.
Well, it's just like you come out of watching a movie and you get an overall sense of like how much you like it, despite crazy things happening in it. Like you just get the fluidity of the movie, how you felt with it, that sort of thing. Whenever I watch Return of the Jedi, I'm kind of just like obviously I love it because Star Wars and it's great movies. The original trilogies are all great. It's just I come out of it, I was like, okay, that was good, but like the other two, I'm like, that was great. Like that was I can't really put a finger on what makes it that way,
fine.
But
Return of the Jedi, where do we want to put it?
I don't think it belongs in Grandmaster.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, Jedi Master's getting kind of full, but I think it goes there.
I think so too. Return of the Jedi and like Revenge of the Sith, I think are on like a very similar
for sure
wavelength.
Whereas Rogue One and Force Awakens are kind of
I think yeah, exactly. I think this is where we're gonna have to sort a little bit more. But
one more movie to go.
We got one more to go. So the Rise of Skywalker. This is the first time we've ever talked about the Rise of Skywalker really at all. In length.
Yeah.
When I saw the Rise of Skywalker, same thing we were just talking about. When I saw it, I liked it. And that's what I got to remember. I did like the movie when I saw it, and I'm happy that it exists. I wish it was better, but that's okay. And I think one of the things that bugs me the most about it is that the sequel trilogy ended up being a pissing contest between Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams. So J.J. Abrams makes Force Awakens. Rian Johnson says, I don't like what you did, so fuck you. I'm just going to do my own thing. And then J.J. Abrams said, well, fuck you for fucking me. Fuck you. And then just dismantles everything Rian Johnson did. And I wish J.J. Abrams had just not done that. I wish J.J. Abrams had just kind of stuck to what his fellow filmmaker had done and said, you know what? And I think the Rise of Skywalker is worse for that than Last Jedi. Like, I think the Rise of Skywalker is worse for dismantling. Yes, because J.J. Abrams, I think, felt the pressure of the fan backlash over The Last Jedi and was like, well, I have to explain away all this shit they didn't like. Whereas, like, I think Rian Johnson just wanted to make his own movie. Like, I don't think Rian Johnson. I don't think what Rian Johnson did was personal to J.J. Abrams. I think Rian Johnson was just a very independent type of filmmaker and wanted to make his own movie. And maybe that this wasn't the best thing for him to do. Maybe it wasn't the best thing to hire him for the middle part. I feel like J.J. Abrams, his was a little bit more of an attack against what Rian Johnson did, because of the backlash, and he's like, well, I gotta fix it. I gotta fix this. And I just hate that the 9th movie in this entire saga was like just fixing stuff, like just patching holes with duct tape. Kind of.
Well, you gotta think also on the same hand, well, he might have been patching. He also had the task of wrapping up all 9 movies.
He did. He totally
still telling a good story in itself. In just the one movie. So as much as he may have like retconned some things, I think he did the best with what he had, considering how disjointed the 7 and 8 were.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure.
Sure, there was a lot of fan service where you're paying homage to certain things in like in the originals and the prequels. But I think he did some pretty cool things that we've never seen before. Example, when Rey and Kylo are in the desert and they're both kind of pulling at that ship together. That's some power to the Force that we've never really seen. And we see lightning from a light side user, which is pretty cool.
That was a very cool scene.
That was a cool moment. I was not expecting that. How they go about finding Palpatine. They brought Palpatine back, which is cool in the sense that it's wrapping up 9 movies and Palpatine was kind of involved. He was involved in the first 2 trilogies in a major way. So I think bringing him back was a good decision. And I don't think they may have just done it to appease the audience.
I'm certain that they did it because Rian Johnson killed Snoke.
Yes. Yeah, like what are you going to do? But I think JJ made it work in a sense that Palpatine was behind it the whole time.
Yeah, I think
kind of pulling the strings.
I just see this is the kind of thing that I wish had just been done from the start. Like if they had sat down in 2013 and said Palpatine's the main villain, we're gonna reveal him. We're gonna reveal him at the end of Episode 8 as a cliffhanger, dude. Fucking imagine if that had been the cliffhanger. If at the end of the movie we just heard his big signal go out and it was just him laughing or some shit, and like that was the end of The Last Jedi instead of the fucking broom kid. Like
exactly. Like what?
You know what I mean? Like
kid didn't even have any meaning, really.
He didn't.
It did,
he
but
didn't
like
have
we
any,
never saw anything.
Yeah, he didn't. So like
we see that just not Jedi have Force abilities. Like everyone can kind of feel it, but that's about it.
It's just that like it's just like examples like that where it's like it's so obvious that it's disjointed that kind of bring it down for me. And but one thing that I think is I honestly wouldn't change Rian Johnson making The Last Jedi, because if you told me, okay, J.J. Abrams will do all three, I don't think I would have liked it as much, because I didn't like I liked The Force Awakens. I didn't like how safe it was, but I gave it a huge pass because it was the first one, and I was expecting more from The Last Jedi and from Rise of Skywalker. And if he had done all three, I think it would have just been like the safest shit you've ever seen. Like even Rise of Skywalker has so many notes of like of Return of the Jedi. The end is literally Return of the Jedi again. And like come on, JJ. Get off the fucking Death Stars, man. Stop. Okay, we're putting planet-killing weapons on every Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man. Why? Why is that what's happening here? I don't get it, man. It just
wants to kill everything.
It's just like I don't get, and it's like it's the same thing I said earlier with the Force. You have the Force, and it's supposed to be the most powerful thing in the universe. To be able to wield the Force is supposed to be so much. So why do they keep making shit about like weapons? Like, why is that what it is? Why didn't you make the big thing the Force or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you're right. Like, they could have done something where like Palpatine's fucking the greatest dark side Force user ever.
So powerful.
Could have done something as far as controlling like mass populations of people on many different planets.
That sounds amazing.
Probably could have had a bigger effect than even the Death Star could have.
That sounds amazing. Literally so many things. Like, there's so many ways it could have gone, and it's just like, come on, like, just do something a little different. Like, all I'm asking is just a little different.
I agree.
And you know, I think there's the more about the characterization. Again, Finn dropping the ball. Like, Poe is fine in it. Rey and Kylo kiss, and I hate that. I just hate that. And like, there's just, I don't know. There's just a lot in the movie that like, kind of, they just felt like they had to. I feel like they felt like they had to do, and it's just. It just could be better. It just could be better. You know,
it could be. Yeah.
I enjoyed watching the movie. I accept that it is what it is, because like there's nothing we'll ever be able to do about it, and that's I think that's the problem a lot of people have. Is like you can't just accept, like you just have to accept it. Like, this is what it is. Don't start Don't start a petition to remake the movie, because it's not going to happen. So just, like, stop. Yeah. Just move on, accept it for what it is, and enjoy the movie for what it is, because it is what it is. And I think at the 15-year anniversary of Rise of Skywalker, maybe we'll be looking back on it with fonder memories than we are right now. Who knows? I've yet to sit down and watch all 9 in a row, but I know that it's so weird, because they're just, like, so different. Like,
it's not like watching the Harry Potters all in a row, because they all kind of
they feel the same.
They feel the same. They're very connected. You know, the Star Wars is not like that.
All 8 movies are widely considered good. Maybe not good to book readers who consider certain movies like Goblet of Fire not as good as the books,
because there's so much more in the book.
So like, but aside from that, all the movies are considered pretty good. Like, that's something Harry Potter has on Star Wars that Star Wars just doesn't. Star Wars will never have that same level of unity, because all the movies are just like, they're so fucking different. And like,
they're so individual, I feel like, even though they're supposed to be a part of this overarching story.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there had been more continuity. I wish they had really played into like some of the prequel stuff a little bit more, like we talked about earlier, not even mentioning Anakin Skywalker's name. Like, that actually kind of upset me when I read that earlier today, I think. Like, he's just like, Anakin Skywalker's the chosen one. And so it when you look at the sequel trilogy as a whole, and you ask yourself, like, okay, like in the prequels, it's all about Anakin, the chosen one. In the original trilogy, it's all about the chosen one's son. But the chosen one is still there, and he is still the one to bring balance to the Force. He did it. Anakin brought balance to the Force. It was because of Anakin Skywalker that it happened. But then you get to the sequels, and it's Anakin Skywalker's grandson who doesn't even know anything about the real Anakin Skywalker or what he did, and it kind of
he still thinks he was this all-encompassing evil that he's trying to like.
Yeah, he's trying to live up to him, but he doesn't even know that like he redeemed himself in his final moments. In his final moments, he was not Darth Vader; he was Anakin Skywalker. So I just wish they had joined that a little bit more. I think that would have made it a little better. And like just don't be afraid of the prequels. I feel like they were afraid of the prequels, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, they were. I think they were afraid of the prequels because a lot of people kind of harp on them. Maybe they knew that.
Yeah.
They're just trying to play too much into the originals. I'm not sure.
It's just that's I think that's the biggest loss for me. I think not even the fact that all 3 of the sequels are disjointed. I think the biggest loss for me is that the sequels are disjointed from the other 6 movies, which are honestly almost disjointed
and from each other.
Like each trilogy is disjointed, but at least the 2 original trilogies have a level of unity that this trilogy does not have with them. So in regards to that, The Rise of Skywalker, the final movie in the Skywalker saga, I think placing it in Padawan is respectable
I agree.
For everything it had to do. I respect you, J.J. Abrams, for bringing the movie together and in a very rough situation. I respect what he was able to bring to the movie. And I do want to mention there are great moments in it. I love when Rey is being called out to by all the past Jedi. I do love the ending. The ending makes me cry every time. And that makes me happy because I feel like it's the ending of Star Wars. I should be sad, but also happy that for it is what it is. So,
and also Babu Frick.
And Babu Frick. All right. So this is our current tier list of Star Wars movies. So in the Grandmaster category, A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. In the Jedi Master category, we have Rogue One, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi. In the Jedi Knight category, we have The Phantom Menace and The Last Jedi. In the Padawan category, we have The Rise of Skywalker. And in the Youngling category, we have Solo and Attack of the Clones. So, do we change the list? I agree, Grandmaster is fine.
In the Jedi Master category, I think we should keep Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, and Rogue One.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I wanted to put Force Awakens down a notch. I think Jedi Knight. I think. Yeah, that was my biggest one. Because I think Rogue One is Rogue One is the better Disney movie.
That Darth Vader scene at the end is my favorite scene in all of Star Wars.
It's phenomenal. It's a great scene.
It's amazing.
So,
yeah.
Are we good? Did we do it? Did we solve everything?
I think we did it. I think we did a pretty good job.
I like this list.
I think for most people, they would agree.
Yeah, I think this is a good list, Jordan. I think we fucking nailed it.
I think we fucking nailed it, too.